So have you ever actually stopped to wonder how a student's dissertation goes from, a massive pile of raw research notes into a fully credible, peer-reviewed published paper? It's kind of the ultimate academic puzzle, right? Well, today we're going to follow the journey of our protagonist, Nazneen Banu. She's a super ambitious fourth-year undergraduate optometry student who just wrapped up a major project on myopia control lenses. And naturally, she wants to share her findings with the world. But here's the thing, getting published isn't just about shooting off an email to a journal. It requires a massive fundamental shift in exactly how that research is structured and presented.
So welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to guide you through this whole process. We're going to look at the architectural blueprint, basically, for transforming raw undergraduate research into a rigorous, publication-ready manuscript. We'll be unpacking an actual faculty guidance note that was given to Nazneen, and honestly, it serves as an absolute masterclass in how academic mentorship truly works. Whether you're a student, an educator, or literally just someone fascinated by how scientific knowledge gets vetted, this explainer is going to reveal the hidden mechanics of academic publishing.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for today. First, the publication request. Then, setting academic boundaries. Third, framing the research focus. Fourth, methodology and data standards. Fifth, navigating statistical analysis. And finally, the final action plan.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the publication request. This is where ambition meets academic reality.
Okay, so Nazneen has come to her faculty with a truly massive request. She's essentially asking for complete publication support for her cross-sectional survey on practitioner awareness of myopia. And when I say complete, I mean she wants paper writing guidance, journal selection, formatting, statistical review, the whole shebang, even reviewer response guidance. That is a towering list of expectations. And the stakes here? They're really high. The target completion deadline is fast approaching, August 10th, 2026. Having that hard deadline adds this immediate, real-world pressure to get all the foundational elements right from day one.
Moving on to Section 2, setting academic boundaries. This is all about establishing the guardrails for success.
Now, notice the incredibly stark contrast here between expectation and reality. Before anyone even thinks about building the roof of this academic house, the faculty has to set some really firm boundaries regarding what they will actually do. On one hand, we establish what the faculty will do. They'll provide intellectual feedback, research guidance, methodology direction, and statistical review. It's really about giving academic direction. But then we get hit with the strict academic reality of what they absolutely won't do. They are not going to write the manuscript, and they aren't drafting the abstract for her. They also flat out refuse to promise Scopus indexing or journal acceptance. Basically, the faculty provides the compass, but the student, they have to do the walking. There is absolutely no ghostwriting happening here. Which brings us to Section 3, framing the research focus, or, as I like to call it, executing the academic pivot.
So the absolute most crucial point right now is defining exactly what kind of study Nazneen has actually conducted. The faculty directs her to frame her work as a KAP survey. If you're not familiar, that's a cross-sectional study measuring knowledge, attitudes, and practices. For Nazneen, this means she's measuring the awareness, the prescribing practices, the perceived barriers, and the training needs of eye care practitioners when it comes to myopia control. This KAP framework, that is the exact defensible structure she has to use.
And honestly, this perfectly illustrates why framing is just so vital. Think about the KAP survey. It measures the practitioner, but a clinical efficacy study, that measures the actual medical effectiveness of the lenses themselves. The faculty guidance is crystal clear on this. Nazneen's paper must absolutely not claim to evaluate the medical performance of those myopia control lenses. She's studying the humans prescribing the lenses, not the hardware itself. Blurring this line is a classic novice mistake, and it's the kind of thing that will get a paper instantly rejected by a journal. No question.
All right, Section 4, methodology and data standards. Structuring the evidence map.
So the faculty hands over this incredible evidence map, which is drawn from global studies in places like Singapore, Ireland, and the UK. Let's look at exactly how Nazneen needs to use this. For instance, when it comes to barriers, global evidence suggests things like cost, training, and medico-legal concerns are really common hurdles. The faculty instructs Nazneen to use this specifically to figure out which of these barriers pop up most frequently in her local setting. Also, regarding her questionnaire, because there isn't some single, universally accepted global standard, she has to adapt published items. But, and this is a big but, she must rigorously document her local validation. She can't just make up questions on the fly, she literally has to anchor them in existing research.
Now, to actually survive scientific scrutiny, the faculty mandates something called Strobe principles, which is basically academic speak for absolute, unwavering transparency. Nazneen has to answer things like, who exactly is the target population? What are the precise response rates? And she definitely needs to confirm that data privacy was completely secure. I mean, think about it. If she just mixes up optometrists and ophthalmologists without actually explaining the differences in their training, her data is essentially useless.
And speaking of making data useless, the faculty hits her with this rapid-fire list of absolute non-negotiables. These are the critical academic traps the student has to avoid to maintain any level of integrity. Number 1, do not copy published questionnaires without explicit permission. Do not use commercial lens company web pages as your primary scientific evidence. Definitely do not cite AI-generated summaries instead of actual peer-reviewed articles. And this is a big one. Do not claim that eyecare practitioners are generally negligent without hard, undeniable data to back that up. In academia, you can only claim exactly what your numbers prove. Period.
Let's move to Section 5, Navigating Statistical Analysis, Building the Analytical Engine.
Here, the guidance lays out a highly logical, step-by-step statistical progression. You don't just jump right into the deep end with complex math. You start simply with descriptive statistics, like frequencies and percentages, just to show the lay of the land. Then you use chi-square or Fisher's exact tests to compare categorical groups, like, say, are optometrists versus ophthalmologists. And only after checking all your assumptions do you move on to t-tests or ANOVA for numerical scores. But notice this absolutely crucial final step. She has to report confidence intervals and effect sizes, not just p-values. It's not just about proving statistical significance. It's about asking, hey, how meaningful is this result out there in the real world?
But right here, there is a massive, flashing warning light from the faculty. Do not perform complex regression if the sample is small. This highlights a really crucial statistical boundary. It is so incredibly tempting for a student to overcomplicate the math, to make a paper look smarter, or to overclaim how generalizable results are, especially if the sampling was just convenience-based. The faculty is firmly reining that in. The math has to perfectly match the limitations of the study scope, no exceptions.
And finally, Section 6, the final action plan, launching the quality control phase. So here are the exact deliverables required for the initial quality control review. It's a very strict checklist. 1, the manuscript draft. 2, the final questionnaire. 3, the raw, anonymized data, usually in Excel or CSV, just to verify those sample sizes. 4, ethics approval and the consent method. And 5, the full reference list to weed out any outdated sources. Let me be clear, until this entire QC phase is passed, talking about journal selection is completely off the table.
Oh, and there is a ticking clock here. The faculty gives the student a strict 5-working-day deadline to revert with all of these materials. If she actually wants to hit that August 2026 completion timeline we saw at the very beginning, there is literally no time to lose. It really instills this intense sense of professional urgency and accountability.
We're going to wrap up with this deeply empowering, yet honestly incredibly firm directive straight from the faculty guidance note. We will not write the manuscript. The writing and final academic responsibility must remain yours. I mean, wow. It just perfectly encapsulates that whole journey from student to published author. Academic guidance lights the path, it points out the pitfalls, and it hands you the map. But at the end of the day, the student has to be the one to actually walk it. Which leaves us with a pretty provocative thought to ponder. In the rigorous world of academia, is the ultimate goal simply to get a paper published, or is the true goal to forge a student into an independent, capable researcher? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope you walk away today with a much clearer understanding of the hidden mechanics behind academic publishing.